Hi friends, I'm back with another Flosstube number 3. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Liz, this is my sewing room and it is pouring with rain once again outside, so I have the curtains shut, the light on, which is why my nose is glowing. I'm so sorry, but I think you'll be able to see the cross stitch. I've done a test recording and it seemed to work okay. So before we get into the stitching, there's things that I wanted to say. Each Flosstube I sort of freeze and panic and don't know what to say, so I did make notes, and I firstly wanted to mention the New Zealand Facebook group again, the New Zealand Cross Stitch, and Zeb is the administrator runner of the group. She does an amazing job, so I just wanted to say a big shout out to Zeb. Thank you for inspiring my journey and for encouraging others. So she does a Monday whip parade on a Monday where you can post a picture of your progress, and a lot of people join in on that, and there's so much variety in the group, from blackbird to shepherd's bush, full coverage stitching. There's a Halloween group. There's just everything you can imagine on there. It's pretty awesome. I also wanted to say hi to Amy from Snow Canyon Stitcher, who is a Flosstuber who watched my Flosstube. Thank you so much, I really appreciate that. And I watched another Flosstuber this week, Lauren from New Hampshire Stitcher, and she was talking about blackbird patterns and her goals on her episode 6, and I'll talk a bit more about that later, but I'm really enjoying her Flosstube. And I'm also, just on that note, a lot of Flosstubers this week have been holding up blackbird patterns and they're not even stitching on them, and I'm just happy to see the pattern pop up. So thank you to all the Flosstubers who share blackbird. And another shout out I want to say is that I've been enjoying is Primrose Cottage stitches, and I've watched the last few have just been like a sit and stitch, and I've really enjoyed those with all the girls and the mum. And two of the girls did an interview with Sambry Stitches, and it was such a good interview, and it's not just about them selling their patterns in their shop. It goes a bit more into the community and how they stitch what they love. They stitch other designers as well, which I like to see that personally from shop people. I like to see all sorts, and they're big on encouraging each other, and they're doing so well. So hi to Primrose Cottage Stitches. They had a Mother's Day sale, and I bought, thank you so much for the PDFs, I bought a PDF of one of the their stitching patterns, and I'll have to I'll link it in the box below. Sorry about that. I'm hoping I can edit these videos and put them together. I went and got the pattern. It was called I Would Rather Be Stitching, and I'm going to add that to my bee collection because I like cute things as well. So that was that one. That was a purchase. And the other thing I wanted to show, which I missed on Flosstube, whichever one or two, I was showing my old cross stitch pieces, and way back in the day I collected Lilliput Lane cottages, and this is one I've got here, and they're handmade and hand carved and hand painted, and they're not, oh there's my cat, they're not made anymore, but it was a club type thing, and you could get the monthly piece and then buy the bigger cottage. So I've got quite a few of these, and after I had bought that one, which is called Porlock Down, and most of them are based on actual houses in England as well, like the old heritage protected houses. So shortly after that came out, I came across a cross stitch kit by Lilliput Lane, and it was of the cottage I had. So this is an old one I did, 2003 I finished it, and it's the same cottage, which I think is pretty cool. And it's on Ada, nothing flash about it, just a lot of backstitch. And we chose green, which is my least favourite colour. I think it's back in fashion. I don't like it because Mum had everything green, green carpet, green curtains, green bedspread, green couch, everything was green. But we chose green because nothing else seemed to suit the frame. And this now hangs in my bedroom. And when you actually look at it, yeah, it's pretty nice from a distance. So that's another old one I just wanted to show you. I'll pop that down here. And let's see. That was Primrose Cottage's pull it down. Oh, the celebration of King Charles getting crowned. I printed off some bunting and I hung it up and invited my dad round for dinner. I printed off the official invitation, which has the, is it focusing? The crown on it, the emblem. And so we had a nice dinner, and we had we did not do quiche. I know the king wanted everyone to make quiche. It is not my favourite, so I did vegetarian sausage rolls. We had a pork stir fry, real weird combinations, cheese straws, and then I made the strawberry and ginger trifle by Adam Handling, who is a Michelin star chef, and that was one of the official puddings you could make. And I found the recipe and on the BBC News website, and the trifle part is a Yorkshire parkin. It's like a sticky date type loaf with nuts in. So we spent 2 days crawling across our town trying to find the ingredients for it. There was a shortage on ground ginger for some reason. We could not find your basic boxed ground ginger. We did end up having to pay a bit more to get some fancy ground ginger, and I made that, and it's supposed to be made with fresh Scottish strawberries, which we didn't have, so I used some frozen raspberries. And I was making it and put it in for the cooking time, 20 minutes, and when the 20 minutes went bing bong, it was wobbly, it wasn't cooked. I'd done it in a loaf tin, which is what it said to use, a loaf tin, like you do a bread loaf. So anyway, I found the recipe on another site, and it was in a PDF format, and that one said to bake it in a cake tin. And I thought, well, it still won't cook in 20 minutes. So I think it was meant to have been done in like a long, flat Lamington tin. But it did eventually cook, and we had that for pudding, and it was delicious. And while we're talking about England, my family are from England, so I just want to give a shout out to some places where I would love to know if you are a stitcher in any of these areas. In England, and my family come from the West Midlands, I have an auntie in Sedgley in Dudley, which is Southampton. I think I've got that right. My mum was from Birmingham, Four Oaks, Sutton Coldfield. So hi to anyone from there. My dad is from Tipton, Dudley, and I have a cousin in Walsall, and my auntie was in Bilston, and I've just found out that she's been put into a care home. She had developed dementia, the fast type, so within a few months it's progressed very badly, and as far as I know, she doesn't know who anybody is right now, and my cousin is taking care of her. And I have an auntie in Tiverdale, so hi to everybody from those places. So I just wanted to say that and share that. My roots actually go back to Scotland. We have, not my hair roots, my genealogy. Oh geez, what did I say that for? Now I'm gonna laugh. What was I saying? Scotland. Oh yes, so we have my dad found we have a shield for our name, and we also have a tartan cloth based on our name that's unique to that. I don't actually own it, but my cousin has a kilt made in it, which is pretty neat. So anyway, that's all the English stuff out the way. So today for you, I have whips, finishes, new starts, and some vague plans for June and July. So let's get into it. Okay, whips, I'm going to start with blackbird designs. Stitch all the blackbirds that you love. Number one is, I've got to find it now. Basket of cherries. This is one I had bought a little while ago. I think I forgot to share it. So I started this and I've had it's all right. I had a piece of 30 count cocoa linen, and then I thought, well, what if I want to do the rest of the series? They're on 32 count. So I did order a piece of 32 count cocoa, and I got the threads. And when I got the threads, the bird, every picture I found of the bird looks blue, but the threads called for are tin bucket and aged pewter. Now tin bucket I couldn't get, it must be like discontinued because I can't find it anywhere, but they're definitely grey from what I've seen, not blue, but every picture of the basket of cherries has a blue bird. And I started it, and halfway through I got off on a line, so it's one line out somewhere, but I haven't actually finished the basket, and there's a little bird down here. So this bird up here, I've substituted, something. Oh, it's coming to me. Weeks Dye Works Blue Heron for the centre, and for the outside of the bird I used Classic Colourworks Chesapeake Bay, which I do like the colours. I don't think it's perfect, but I do like it. So this is the size of the fabric I had bought, so I might just be able to squeeze another one of the same one on here. It'll be really tight borders because this edge has the selvage on it. So I'm contemplating just doing it again and I'll make this one up, but I kind of want it perfect. So if you have any suggestions for the blues for the bird, let me know, please. So that's not quite a finish, but a whip number one. Where am I going to put my piles? Here. Okay. Oh, that's right. So Lauren of the New Hampshire Stitcher was wanting to do the Garden Club series and the bird series. I think that was right. And she was worried that they were going to go out of print, but she didn't want to. It's a big investment to buy them all up front. So, and same here. And she wanted to know if they were going to go out of print. I hope not. So just keep those things printing because it takes a while to buy them all. I've bought a few, which I'll just grab. Sorry about that. So I had bought these three a little while ago. The Sweet Home, How Does the Lily Grow, and the Fairy Garden. And then Alex, who's in the New Zealand Facebook group, she was buying them all up and I couldn't find them in New Zealand. So I had a parcel which was meant to come from America and it's gotten lost. No one can find it. And I felt a bit sad. So I sent a message to Art and Frame, who is in Christchurch. They're a framing shop and they do sell cross stitch, but they don't have a website with it them listed. So I just sent them a message asking if they had any of the garden club, and they had some, but not all of them. And I forgot to take them out of the plastic. But honeybee, so I got that one. Tulip and lily, I hope you can see that. And apple orchard. And I'm pretty sure I still have 6 that I can't get that I would need, but I've, you know, spent my budget for this month and we're already nearly into June. And the only other purchase I did at the same time, I wanted to start the scattered seed samplers gathering together pin keep, and it's a nice DMC pattern, so I've wanted to get that for a while. So yeah, just hopefully the blackbirds will keep coming. So that was that. And the whip number 2 is This Happy Morning by Plum Street. And I was a bit behind on it because I am still getting used to hand-dyed threads, and I must have just searched for cayenne, week's-dye, and it came and I thought I was all set. And when I went to actually stitch it, I realised I'd bought Classic Colourworks cayenne, and I didn't know that Weeks-Dye Works had a cayenne as well. There were 2, and it's supposed to be the Weeks-Dye Works cayenne. So Art and Frame did have those threads in stock, and they sent that along with the patterns that I just bought. So that was nice. So because I'd gotten a bit stuck on this one, and then I just put it aside. But I've been catching up on that in the last week. And I'm using all the called for threads. Yep, the whole lot called for. And this one is on the called for 36 count whole bristle. And sorry, here's my progress. Oh, can I fit it in the screen? Okay, so I've worked on all the berries, and I finished the berries last night. They have got like 3 little stitches on the end in different colours. So I've, like, the inside ones are darker than the ones on the outside, except for up here, but just where the green grass will be filled in. And I've been working on the little stars that are dotted all over the place. And I had done all the outline of the leaves, and then I went back in and did the little, oh, the lighting is terrible. Let's see. There's no point if you can't see it, right? Okay, there's little blueberries, and then I filled in all the green, and I started the star last night, and there's a couple of stars there. I've done the peacock. This urn got restitched about 3 times. I just could not get that in the right place, but I got there. And I also last night filled in all the tiny little things that I had missed in the bottom section. This is huge. I'm getting a sore arm. So the only thing I haven't done is the words. There's a G that comes below the line, but other than that, I'm ready to just completely fill in the grass, and then I can get to the big house. So whoop, that is a bit of a monster. So that's whip number 2. And whip number 3 was the sheep. The Brenda Gervais Welcome Spring. And I didn't do much. I need a magnifier. I did work on the eggs. Okay, there we go. I'm hoping it's focusing. I'm on my phone today too, which is different. It's real tiny, so I'm having trouble seeing because I'm blind as a bat. So that's the sheep. I might just put him away. There's a shop in New Zealand called the Primrose, and they're moving premises into a new bigger building, and they're having their opening on the 3rd of June, which I can't make, so we're going to go up in the school holidays, and then I can test to see if I can actually see through the Halo Go lamp. Everything I've tried so far I've not had any success with. I can't use clip-ons or anything because my eyes are different, and my dad showed me some readers yesterday that were 1.5 and I just couldn't see through them at all. So I fingers crossed that the Halo Go, I can see through it, because that might be the next purchase for me. So that was my 3 whips, but I did have more, but they turned into finishes. Yes, so, okay. Heart in Hand, Blooming Tiny Town. That was a start. I needed something easy. I was getting a bit dragged down with my big pieces. So I broke my monogamous stitching and I didn't like it. I did too many things. I only like 2 or 3 at the most, but I did it. So I've stitched it, ironed it, bought some fabric and finished it into a project bag. I'll just try and fish it out. I did make changes. Let's get rid of all these plastic bags. Okay, so the colours I changed because it has a whole bunch of fancy floss and it was getting a bit costly, so I've mixed it up. So instead of 12 grain, I used DMC 3865. Instead of cherry tomato, mine was very the wrong colour, my hand dyed thread, so I actually changed it to Ladybug by Classic Colourworks. I used Classic Colourworks Chesapeake Bay, Clay Pot, Finley Gold. I changed to 3820 DMC, and that's not what was in the pattern. Mine was like a real pale yellow, so I wanted something like how it looks for the house at the beginning. So I chose 3820. 4-leaf clover I changed to DMC 320. Hickory sticks I changed to DMC 3021. Little sprout I changed to 988. Pebble Beach I changed to 340. I used Rosy Glow, I used Seashelly. Secret Garden I changed to DMC 522. I used Blue Heron, and then Dirt Road I changed to 869. So that's if you wanted to change the colours, that's what I did. And I was looking at the pattern and I loved how it was surrounded by this fabric, and it reminded me of a picture I'd seen of someone else's stitched project bag with similar colours. It wasn't this pattern, and I was hunting around and thought it was Nantucket by Thimble Blossoms, and so I ordered some, and it's the right colour, but it wasn't actually that fabric, but it's close enough. And I used some, I'll just show it to you, there we go. It's my new project bag for spring things. And this is a very old Tilda Basic I had some tiny scraps left of, and so I used that to frame it. This was Lewis and Irene fabric, I think, from my local shop, and then this one I ordered online. So there's my project bag with a little what do you call it, fob. A Quilting Life has a tutorial for how to make the little fabric ties, And then there's my little stitched piece. And I sewed the buttons on after I had put it all together, and on this one I did use interfacing behind the stitched piece because I didn't want it to fray with wear and tear. And then inside the bag I just used this, you may not be able to see it, it's a kiwi fabric with corus on it. So that's the inside of the bag. So yeah, a nice start and finish. So that's that one. And going through, oh yes, so at the same time I did it on 32 count vintage antique, and I cut another piece because on this one I will do the honey tiny town. I don't own the pattern yet, but I'm going to get it eventually. And I bought some fabrics. This was another piece of the Nantucket series. It's like a little circle on it. So I'm using that for my main bag. And then I don't know what these are, but they're, I couldn't find the right bee fabric. So I just went for a mustardy yellow colour because it will go nice with the blue. And then I had this little teeny yellow floral, and I'll use that as a little border around it. So I'm going to have a honey bag, so that will be in my future. And then, oh yeah, the Primrose Cottage stitches, they're doing the Seaside Tiny Town, which I want as well, and they're stitching them in little groups as individual pillows. So that's how I'll finish that one. And then I had a big finish. Where is it gone? Where did I put it? Oh, right in front of me. Okay, so Plum Street, Graced Off the Bound. That was that one that had the blue snake. Can you see that? Oh, it looks blurry to me. I didn't want the snake, so I finished it. I used the Corfall threads, except for the black. I used DMC 310. Everything else was the same. On 36 count baked clay by Fox and Rabbit, and with a couple of changes to the pattern. So let's see if I can get this to stay on the board. I need some of those big clips. Okay. So there we go. Now I should point out that I completely ran out of the, I think it was parchment for the house. There's little bits of white. I used every single piece of the skein, and I think that's because I did 1 X at a time on the house instead of stitching in rows, and there's hardly any variation, so I should have just stitched it in rows, but because I was wanting the fancy floss to work, I was doing 1 X at a time. I changed, the man's legs were meant to be an avocado, and I just used the same colour that was on his coat, so he's got cream legs. I changed the girl's dress. I stitched it twice in different colours, and I ended up liking this way the best because I'd taken the snake out who was blue, and you should always have 3s and 3s. So 1 bluebird, 2 bluebirds, so I've got a 3rd blue thing, and my little lady is in blue. And I did stitch like a frippery, I don't know what you call them. I tried to stitch an acorn there, and it actually didn't need it, so I took it out. So I'm really liking that. The hardest part on this pattern was stitching, counting all the little distances between all those little dotty dot things. And then the next hardest part was actually stitching them, because there's only a few threads and there's not much room to tie off your threads after 3 colours, so they were getting a little bit bulky, but one big finish for me, which is, I'm really happy because then I get to start a new one. So that was another Plum Street one finished. Okay, Blackbird. So Alex in the New Zealand group decided to do a stitch along, a sale for a Blackbird piece, and she chose the Blackbird pin keep. You could stitch on any Blackbird, but that was the focus piece, and she's going to do a focus piece each month. And excuse me, that wasn't planned for, but I jumped in because I had the pattern, and I did it on, I stitched it on 36 count parchment because I had that big piece, and I ordered the Gentle Art Espresso bean, which is what it called for in the end. I decided not to do it blue, I decided to do it in the called for colour. And so there's my little pillow, which I cut real tight to the border, and I'm still not decided on whether to add some ribbon. I forgot to go and buy some, and the back was just a piece. I joined it across the middle and stuffed it from in there. It's like is it a focus? Nope. Black and gold and cream fabric. So far it's just looking like that, and that will be a great bowl filler for my autumn stitching. So I'm really happy with another Blackbird finish. And it took, I don't know, it took me a few nights. I did the border first and then I filled in the middle. So that was a finish. Oh, that was the other thing about the Plum Street. This one, it's got 2, because I'm new with hand-dyed threads, it's got 2 sweet potatoes in it. Weeks Dye Works sweet potato and Classic Colour Works sweet potato. And that was why I did a lot of unpicking, because I kept stitching the wrong sweet potato in the wrong spot. So just a warning for that. So I did the Blackbird. The next finish I had was Christmas Mini Moon by Plum Street. The little rabbit on the pink house with the Christmas trees, and he's got a candy cane, and I finished that on 36 count Affogato by Fibre on a Whim, and I used all the called for threads except for the week's linen. I changed to DMC Ecru, and so throw it at you. There's my little pillow. I think it came out pretty good. And I hand stitched the white pom-pom on and added a little tiny green ribbon for the Christmas tree. And the back, I just had this spotty fabric, and I didn't quite join it very well, but I can hide that with something. So it's my Christmas Mini Moon. So I'm looking forward to the next ones in the series when they come out. I think you can actually get them from, is it Country Sampler? But I can't afford the postage for that one. I'm not even going there. Okay, so, oh man, I did so much this month. Right, okay. Hands-on design is what I'm trying to say. This can be a bad video. Hands-on design Love You freebie, which is on her blog, and I have not stuffed it yet. I started this because I've wanted to do this for ages, and I just spent a night because it was a big account. I did it on I used 32 count Murano blush even weave, and I used Classic Colourworks Ripe Melon, which I think is Primrose Cottage Stitches are doing some colours with those. I think I saw on one of their floss tubes they're using those colours. And then I had some leftover espresso bean from the Gentle Art, from the Blackbird, and I used that as the dark. So that was a start and a finish. I think I did that in one night. It's pretty easy. I did a little folded flap of Priscilla's Pretty Plaids. This is just a little heart print that I've been using for all my Valentines, and that's the pink even weave. And I just did the same on the back, and I'll stuff it, and I'll be looking for some heart buttons or a bow, or I'll put something else on here. So I was really pleased about that, to add to my Valentine's collection. It was really quick and easy. Heart in Hand Stitch freebie was posted on their Facebook group, I think. You can go on there and get it. I think it's called Stitch. And it's some secret sewing, but I'm going to show it anyway, but no one will know who's getting it. And I stitched it on some 32 count cream linen that I'd gotten from an op shop, and I used the Primrose Cottage Stitches colours. Katie, I think it is, had listed the colours on her Instagram. I'm not on Instagram, but for some reason Google popped it up and let me look at it. Yay! So I could copy the colours. So I'll direct you to her Instagram page. You'll have to look up Primrose Cottage Stitches and see what her handle is, because I can't remember it, sorry. But I used those colours and stitched it up as best I could. I think I used the right ones, the colours, because she said she kind of just winged it. And so there we go. That's Do What You Love stitch. And I'm going to turn it into a hoop finish, but I've got to buy a little hoop. So it's so pretty. So I might do another one for me, but I think I'll do it on, I need to order some white Lugana, so that will be a nice little thing to pop up in my sewing room. Let's see, the final thing for finishes is I sewed up the Blackbird When the Leaves Fall. I'm just covering the boxes, so I am going to do the squirrel. I've decided on top of that one. I haven't done it yet, which is, I'll show you so that you know what I'm talking about. Okay, that little squirrel there, he's going to go on my box. And then the that one's called, the next one's called Sky Full of Birds, that one there, which I did. I used some batting and some board and hot glue gunned it onto the top of my box, and it needed something else, so I added some brick rack and trying to show it, the shadows. So it's, I can't find cotton rickrack in New Zealand, so I had polyester white rickrack, which I coffee dyed, and I've done it before and it never worked, but this time what I did was I dissolved 1 teaspoon of our freeze-dried coffee that we drink every day in 1 to 2 tablespoons of nearly boiling water, and I made sure it was well dissolved, and I put the rickrack in the cup and dunked it and squished it with a spoon, and I left it for 20 minutes. And then I pulled it out, and I did not rinse it, because if you rinse it, because it's polyester, it's all just going to wash off. So I popped it on a paper towel and let it dry, and it kept its colour of a coffee colour. So that was white rickrack, and it is perfect for what I wanted. So that was that. So I'm working on my little display. I've got my 2 boxes, and then this is the next one, which is the bear with me, bittersweet acorn. Okay, that one there. And I was going to use that Tilda that's on my Blooming Tiny Town bag, but it wasn't wide enough. It was only 2 inches wide, so it wasn't enough. So I just used some other old, this is another Tilda that I had been hoarding. Just I've got this tiny little bag of Tilda scraps that I don't want to use up. So again, I used the coffee dyed rickrack top and bottom, stitched on with 1 strand of Dirt Road, which is used in the pattern, and I have these bronze beads which I've had for forever, and so they went quite nicely around the top. You can see I didn't want to put them on the bottom though, I just liked it like that. And so this drum is my second drum. My first drum was the Heart Tiny Town, Heart in Hand Tiny Town, the Valentine one. And so that was my first drum. And with this drum, I used a cardboard base and laced it, and I used a cardboard and batting on the top, so you can't put the pin in very far because there's cardboard, because I laced the top and added that. But this and this part I had hot glue gun on because it was the only way I could get that to stick. So this one I used cardboard on the bottom with 1 layer of batting and laced it, and the top I did not use cardboard, I just cut the circle with the circle template that's in the book, and it was a little bit trickier to add the top. I prefer using the cardboard because it gives you kind of something to hold on to, and I just stuffed this one with I did a layer of poly stuffing, and then I attempted to put walnut shells in the middle. You can't really tell, they all just spilled out, and then I shoved more batting on top. So this one you could put a needle right in and there'll be nothing to stop it, and it's real squishy. So that's my second drum finished to go with my little collection. And then I've been so busy, the Delicious Autumn. Okay, that one there. And I wanted to do it in a bag to go with my little display. So I used that same fabric that I'd picked up and followed the instructions in the book and made a little bag and hand stitched as it called for, and then added, I had to go and buy some ribbon. I didn't have the right ribbon, so I bought some ribbon, and I have a little bag. So the only thing left for that, which I'm not going to do till next year, was that will go in a frame with my little display when I get that done, and the squirrel one. And at some point I will do the other ones in the book because I actually love everything in that book. So that was all of the that book. Plans. For my stitching, I have done things a little bit differently over time, and the latest way seems to be working for me. I download the Fat Quarter Shop free calendar, and I glue the pages, the calendar, into a lined book, which I'll just show you. I have a lovely little book here where I track everything. And like this is June's page stuck in. And I love I really appreciate their free calendars. And I've been using this method since August last year and it's working for me. So I'm liking it. And all I track is when I start something on the calendar, and when I work on it, I put it in. And when I finish it, I put it in. I don't track how long it takes me to do something or how many hours. I don't do that. I just want to know, did I work on it on this day? And when did I start it? And beside the month, I write down on a blank page, I write my goals for that month, which I keep really easy because I like to achieve my goals. I write down my whips that I'm carrying over from the previous month because I don't have a lot. So if you have lots and lots, this won't work for you. But if you just have a few, this will work. Then I write a section for new starts. If I decide to start something new, I write down what it is and the date I started it. And then if I finish something, I write down the date I finished and what it was. That's all I keep in that book. And so I used to track, like the first year I started, I planned out my whole year trying to keep up with Kimberly from the Fat Quarter Shop. Man, she's on fire. She just goes. So I did get up to 60 smalls. That was the most. I did that 2 years in a row and she just bypassed me. I guess she has more time to stitch. I go as fast as I can and I cannot keep up with her. So she can slow down, okay? I love everything she does. So anyway, that was what set me off with my determined cross-stitch journey. Like just setting little goals, and I planned my whole year out, and I did manage to keep up, but it was a bit of pressure to keep it up because I wasn't sure exactly how long it would take to stitch a small. Some you can do in 2 nights, and others it takes a week. So now I just decide the month before, or like the last week of the month, I go, okay, I'm gonna carry on my whips, and I feel like starting such and such, and I'll write that in as my goal to start what I'm feeling like. And I could quite happily keep stitching on autumn things. So last year I completely forgot about Jolly July, which Fat Quarter Shop hold, and I didn't want to miss again. So this year, because I'm trying to keep a blackbird on the go and a plum street, but I do want to do some Christmas stitching. And last year they had, Fat Quarter Shop had they have a mystery sale, a stitch along, and I printed off last year's Christmas one, but I don't have the threads or fabric. But one of the patterns I did buy, which was a PDF from last year, was Sleigh Ride. So I'm going to do this in July, definitely. I've got the threads except for the white. Pretty colours, classic colour works. And I have a piece of the 32 count Murano even weave, and it's it says mine white. I think it's meant to say mint white. So that's definitely a July start, because I've got to stitch all the centres. That's really important. And for the other thing I did last year was the Prairie Santa Old World Santas 2, book 88. So, no, that's the one I'm going to do. Last year I did Chris Kringle's book by Prairie Schooler, number 62. So I did those last year, and this year I want to do the Old World Santas. And It's these old dudes. So I'm just going to do them as hanging ornaments. I think the last lot I did is ornaments, but I ended up putting them in a bowl. And I do keep my patterns in these plastic L pockets that we get from our stationers, just in case the pattern sticks to the vinyl. I do not. This kind of started to stick, so I thought, oh, I better, this is one of the paper ones, so I thought I better put it in. So I keep them in here, and it's quite sturdy, so it stops them from bending. And I've got a little bit of the 32 count vintage antique Belfast left. I don't have enough to do all of them, but it's a start, and I'll just be using the Call for DMC. So those are two things for July. I'm trying to hold off till July. And then for the bags, I just thought I'd show you my two of my Christmas bags. I actually bought a it was a pillow kit with a panel, and it actually did not have enough fabric to make the pillows, so I actually cut it up and turned it into project bags, which is an idea for you if you make your own. I bought coordinating I just found a fabric that went with it. It was a grey with a white star, and this is the panel inside. So hopefully you can see it's not too shiny. So the panel was not wide enough, but there were borders on the panel, so I actually cut the borders out to make it a big enough piece for my bag for the size that I wanted. And the back I just used the same, but I like my pictures to be on the inside, so that when you pull something out you go, oh, you see a little surprise in the bag. And this was my other panel that was on the panel, and I again did the same thing with the border. I just added strips on to make it big enough. And this one had a piece of this really cool quilt background, quilts on the line, so I used that on the back for that one. And I think there were two more pictures, and I made them into mini pillows, and I bought plenty of this star fabric, and I used that to make two Christmas cushions for my lounge. So that was just an idea for you. And then my other plans are June. June is my birthday month, so I'm hoping that a certain pattern might be loaned to me, might come along, and that will be my birthday start. So it's a blackbird piece, and it's strawberry fields, and everybody in the entire world has done it except me. So if that comes along in time, I'll do that. Otherwise I'll pick something else. And the other thing I've got planned is this. I've chosen the Sewing Club, and I'm going to do a small piece from here with the little scrap of legacy linen I had. It is pretty dark, but I'm just going to go with what I've got. And I think I've got the threads for it, which are here. Hopefully they'll show on that fabric. It's pretty dark, but I don't really want to buy more fabric. And I want to do the ripe pear. It won't take long. And my dad has made some boxes for it to go on. They're not perfect, but I'll show you that when I get it finished eventually. Let's see. So that's that. So trying to keep a blackbird on the go. Not sure what my next Plum Street one will be. There is someone in the New Zealand group who has got blackbird designs, Merrily Merrily We Welcome Spring, kitted up, and she's ready to start. And I think there's a sale going along somewhere in the world, but I don't have anything for that right now, so I can't start that one, but I'd like to. And I've reorganized my project bags, so it's a little bit, now that I've got a few more patterns and a few more kitted up, I've made one tub with bags that I have everything to choose from. It's all there ready to go. So that's, I'm trying to pick from there first. And then I have my blackbird patterns that are not kitted up in a magazine holder. So they're all together and I can find them easily. And then I've just got a little bucket for my whips, which isn't usually more than 5. So that's working out quite well. So I think that is everything. Quilting wise, I'm not doing a lot of quilting. My last thing I did this weekend was I got some binding made up for 2 things that I've had sitting around. I've finally got some quilt batting, and I can't remember where the pattern is from, but it's a little table topper. It's this 4 times. So I've got some, it's like a spring flower. If you really want to know what it is, I'll try and find out. But that was my yellow binding for that. And I have not touched these in a year, so they need to get done. And then, whoops, this one, I'm not sure if I'll be able to show it to you. It's not huge, but it's just awkward. I did Motor Blockheads 3, which was a free sew along on their blog, and I made a full size quilt for my bed with that. And then I still had leftovers of this fabric and Motor Blockheads 4 came along, and I did that with some changes. There were some blocks that had circles and were too similar to my other quilt, so I took them out and swapped them. But let's see, I might even try and stand up, shall I? I've got it attached to the backing, not basted, but just folded up. Okay, so I'm using Bloomington scraps, and that's 1 row. Let's see if I can fold it back and show you each row. It's not huge. I chose the small block size to do mostly, and to mix with some big ones. And I used that big rose print as the accent. Oh, have you seen it all? It's a bit dark, I apologise, but it's raining. And then the bottom row. Okay. And there's the bottom row. So it's nice and busy, that's how I like it. And it's blue and I like it. And I just have to quilt it, put it together and quilt it. So I'm thinking it might be able to be another one to hang on my wall. I'm not sure. It might be a little bit too wide. I'll have to check. But that's my quilting. I've got too many quilts, so I can't start anymore. So I hope that you enjoyed my Flosstube. I hope that you're inspired to stitch something, whatever it is that you like. I hope that it's not raining in your part of the world. And thank you for joining me, and I will see you next time.